Hey guys, what's up? So today's video is going to be another story time video. I quite enjoy doing story time videos because I have a lot of crazy experiences. Now, if you've been following me for a minute, you may know that I've had multiple channels throughout my progression on YouTube, and eventually I've gotten to the point where I use this channel as my main channel. If you didn't know, I used to have an old channel called Dystopia. I had a video on that channel called Trapped in a Haunted House, and it was a story time video about my experience. My window's open. I just saw a car drive by, so I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that. If you do, I'm sorry. There was a story time video on that channel of an experience of me being trapped in a haunted house, and I'm going to just retell that story for this channel. So I have my iPad right here with the photos pulled up. I'm gonna go through them on here, but I'm also obviously gonna have them pulled up, you know, on the screen. I was on vacation with my family up in West Virginia. My family is kind of from, my dad's side of the family is from West Virginia, so I have a lot of family up there. It's in the Appalachian Mountains, so it's like really mountainous. There's like all kinds of crazy hills and this, that, and the other, and my aunt and I are a year apart in age. It's a long story, but we're a year apart in age. She's younger than me. We have a lot of the same interests, and whenever I go on vacation up to West Virginia, I tend to spend a lot of my time with her. And there was one time I was just, you know, sitting in her living room with her, just chit-chatting away, and we were thinking, you know, what would be really fun? And she was telling me about this haunted house that she knew about up in the forest behind the hill by her trailer park. And when I mean hill, I mean a fucking mountain. So she tells me about this haunted house, and I'm really kind of morbid. I like creepy things. When she tells me about this haunted house, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go for it. I'm totally into it. Let's go. So she tells me it's a bit of a hike and we have to go, but it'll totally be worth it. Unbeknownst to me, this was gonna be like a 30 to 40 minute hike to get to this goddamn house. We get to the point where we're starting to hike. There's like her trailer park. You go out of it, and then there's like this huge hill right by you. And we go up that hill, and she's like, alright, we're just starting. And so we're trekking along and trekking along and trekking along. We're going through some wooded areas. It's like really foresty. It's kind of dense. We just kept walking and kept walking, and eventually we came upon a set of, like, not a set of stairs, but like various groupings of stairs that would like help you sort of hike through the area. Because apparently the owners knew it was bullshit where they decided to pick their house. So we hike through these stairs, we go up through and whatever, and then we come upon this like really disgusting pool. Like, got this really nasty pool water. There's a shelf-like thing in the left side of the pool. I don't know if it was a shelf, I don't know if it was a ladder, I'm not exactly sure what it is. And there were also like fish and really weird creatures in the water as well, like, you know, like tadpoles, and just a water civilization had formed. There's not really much else way to put it. So the pool is like one of the first things you come up on when you walk onto the property. If you go to the left of the pool, there is actually now like a staircase. You go up those stairs and you come up to the porch where, you know, like the windows are flung open and everything like that, probably from people having been here looting the house or whatever, because when houses are abandoned, people do that. This is the porch. Some of the windows are boarded over and everything like that. So we end up going into the house, and inside the house, some of these pictures aren't going to be the greatest because, as I did say, this is an abandoned house. There's no electricity. There's no way to turn a light on. There's nothing, and apparently we didn't realize, you know, that flashlights exist, so we didn't bring anything in order for us to light up the room or anything like that. So we were just walking through a really dark, old, empty, haunted mansion. Some of the shit we saw was disturbing. So we were going through this house, yeah, and it's like a Mexican style villa. So inside the house we come to this room where there's like a fireplace and like a desk and everything like that. The desk is covered in paperwork and stuff like that, but we don't really bother to check any of it because we're just like interested in exploring the house. So we go through the house and take all these pictures and stuff like that because we think that this is interesting. And as we're going through the house, we noticed some like weird things, like little girls' clothing and stuff like that. And you would just think that, you know, I don't know what we thought, but we didn't think anything of it. We just kept looking, and, you know, like some really weird things we saw in this house were like, in the basement. One thing we saw in the basement was, in the bathroom in the basement, they had like this really old style bathroom. There was this like porcelain sink with piping going down out, like, you know, it's like an old style bathroom. There was a bat, a dead corpse of a bat looked like it was trying to crawl out of the drain. Not into, out of the drain. So that was petrifying. Not petrifying, but it was really nasty, really gross, and kind of disturbing. Like, no, ew, why? And so while we were down in the basement, one of the doors randomly shut, and we are starting to freak out at this point, and we're like, what the hell? Why is this happening? You know, so we just freak out and we try and run. We try and go away, but the door won't open for a minute. Eventually we can get it open, but you know, for that second where it wouldn't open, we were kind of like starting to really freak out, because we're like, what the hell is going on here? I want to open the door, I want to leave. We didn't end up leaving. We kept looking in through the house and everything like that. So we've already explored the main level, we just got terrified in the basement, so now we go up to the second floor, because we're those people in horror movies that would die. We don't go out the front door, we go up the stairs. So on the second floor, there's not really much that we could see. It was just a bunch of empty bedrooms. There was like a bathroom. We didn't want to go in there after what just happened in the basement, so we decide, you know, there's not much to look at on the second floor, let's go into the attic. And the attic was the worst part of it all, because once we get up to the attic, it's like, it's like torn to shreds. It's completely trashed and everything like that. There's like mattresses flung everywhere, and we noticed this really long like string going across the attic, and we're not sure what this string is for. We're not sure if that's like set to make the house explode. We're not sure. The flooring in the attic isn't that sturdy. You need to be careful where you walk, otherwise you might fall through the floor. Totally normal, right? Falling through the floor sounds like something I want to do. So we were in the attic looking around at stuff, and over by a bed on a bed frame there were some ropes, and we're just kind of like, okay, you know, maybe he was just kinky. And then we see more little girls' clothing, and not a pair of shoes, but like one little girl's shoe. We've seen little girls' underwear. We saw all kinds of like just unspeakable things that would lead to what we discover. So we're going to go down the stairs from the attic, because at this point we're sufficiently creeped out. Ropes by a bed, little girl's clothing, one shoe, like, you know, no. So we go downstairs from the attic into the living room area, but like I told you, there's the basement, first floor, second floor, attic. So we had another floor to go past before we were actually able to leave the house. We go downstairs onto the second floor, like, landing, I guess you could say, and we just stopped for a second to talk. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember turning around, looking down the stairs, and I see this little, like, it wasn't big at all. Like, I can't, it was like a 4-year-old size, probably. And it was this little apparition. It was just a shadow figure. And I'm like getting goosebumps even talking about it. Oh my god, okay. So there was this little shadow figure down there, and all I see is like what would look like to be an arm raising up, and then it just dissipates. And I'm like, a little too much for me. So we go and we rush out and we go to leave the house, because that's just too much. It's too much. But before we leave the house, we remember that there was that desk covered in paperwork. So we try to see if we can look at it to see if we can figure out anything about the dude, like, who might have owned the house or whoever. And we ended up finding a name. I don't remember the name right off the top of my head, but we ended up finding a name in the paperwork. So after we leave the house, we end up going back to my aunt's house, and we're just kind of, you know, sitting there reeling from what the shadow apparition thing that just happened, and we know his name. So we end up going on a quick Google search, you know, la-di-da, and it turns out this guy, I don't remember his, like I said, I don't remember his name, but I remember three things. One, he was from Pennsylvania. Two, he bought the mansion in, like, I think it was like 1960 something, I'm not exactly sure, but the property was sold in the 60s, and he was arrested for raping children. So let's just let that sink in for a minute. Arrested for raping children. In the attic, there was a rope by a bed. There were little girls' clothing, a singular shoe, like, okay, And then there was that string that was across the attic for some godforsaken reason. The floor, you could have fallen through it. There was a bat in the sink in the basement that was dead, and it looked like it was trying to crawl out of the sink for dear life, and too much. Now, like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy these photographs and stuff like that. I know they weren't the best of quality, but that was because I had to turn the exposure on them way up just for you to even be able to kind of see what the pictures were. Otherwise, they were just like black. Alright, so that was my story time of my experiences in a haunted house and being trapped in the basement and everything like that, seeing the dead bat, seeing the shadow girl, girl, like, you know, it was just, I'm assuming it was a girl because maybe, I don't know, maybe he did rape little boys. Who knows? I don't know what his life was. I don't want to know what his life was. So yeah, please leave a like on this video if you guys actually did like this video. It really does help me out to know if you like story times, if you like hauls, depending on what you want, you know. Just leave a like down below if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more from me, and I will see you guys in my next video.
Bye!